بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to day 13 of Qur'an Recitation Mastery. In this video, inshallah, we'll be teaching readings of Nuun, Saakinah, and Tanween. But before that, I would like to apologize for not uploading videos for a couple of months now. Actually, it's due to a lot of reasons. So, I'm back with a more, let me say, simplified and comprehensive syllabus for this course. So in this video I'll be talking about the readings of Nuun, Saakinah, and Tanween, but this video is just an introduction to that topic. But before then, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and then if you've watched the previous video, make sure you revise them before you continue watching this. And if you are yet to do that, go back to the previous videos and make sure you watch them and understand very well. So after you've done that, open your Mus'haf or Qur'an and practice what you've learned so far by analyzing and reciting Surah Al-Fatiha. For example, let's say the sentence Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. That's the first verse in Surah Al-Fatiha. So you have to spell it out. Spell each letter like Ba Kasra B, then Sin Sukun Bis. And the most important aspect is the makhraj part, the way you pronounce your letters. Make sure you've perfected them already, or at least you should keep practicing it. If you are yet to perfect it, make sure you keep practicing. So then the next one is Amzatul Wasli. Yeah, that's also important, because if you don't revise and if you don't practice, you won't remember the runnings of that too. So that's it. So Bismillahi. How do you pronounce that? Why do you join Mim Kesra me with Allah without saying that Bismi and then Allahi, or Bismi and then Allahi, something like that? So what's the ruling? Are you going to skip the Hamzatul Wasl? You call it, or you join it together, or give it Fatah Kesra Dhamma? So make sure you are able to explain the reasons very well. So then we are moving on to today's lesson, which is Nuun, Saakinah, and Tanween. But firstly, what is Nuun Saakinah? Nuun Saakinah is any noun that has sukun on it. It might be a closed one, as in zero. Yeah, just like the normal way you have sukun. Sukun is either zero or a greater than sign. So that's an open circle or whatever. So Nuun Saakinah is noun that has sukun on it. And then what is Tanween? Tanween is the representation of double vowels. You know, when I was teaching, I think, yeah, it was Tanween. Tanween is Fathatain, Kisratain, and Dhammatain, So that means double Fatha, double Kisra, and double Dhamma. And in the previous videos, I said Fatha, Kisra, Dhamma are Arabic vowels, right? So the representation of double vowels, that means double Fatha, double Kisra, and double Dhamma, is what we call Tanween. What's so special about Nuun, Saakinah, and Tanween to the extent that they have rules guiding them? Yeah, not so much, but they are special as much as other tajweed aspects, in the sense that once you get them wrong, the recitation will be faulty. The same way you get makhraj, or let me say the way you pronounce letters wrong. If you pronounce a letter wrong, then your recitation will be faulty. That's the same case here. If you get the reading wrong, then your recitation will be faulty too. So Nuun Sakinah, when you have Nuun Sakinah or Tanween before any of Arabic letters, there are rules guiding them, not just one. There are rules guiding them. So if you don't get the rules correctly, your recitation won't be that cool. So, or let me see, it won't be correct. So why is Nuun Sakinah and Tanween joined together, as in have the same rule? Because Tanween ends in end sound, just like Nuun Saakinah. So what do I mean by end sound here? When you have fatha, for example, when you have beta, instead of baytun, I wrote here ba fatha. Sorry, baytu. Baytu is ba fatha ba, ya sukun, bay, then ta dummatu. But when the doma is doubled, that's dummatain, right? So then you add n to it, that is baytun. So it ends in n sound, and instead of just adding nun that has sukun on it so that you can also call it baytun, you just put another vowel, another fatha or another kisra. Like I said earlier, Tanween is the short form of Nuun Saakinah. I explained it with Baytun and then Baytun. The first one ending with Dumatan and the second one ending with Noon Sukun. So the transliteration of both words ends with letter N. And then to simplify the written form, when you pronounce both words, they are the same, like a Baytun, Baytun. The first one ending with Domatan and the second one ending with Nonda Asukun. But if you want to write the words, or let me say the word, because it's actually the same word, but the Domatan is just broken down into Tada as Duma and then Noon Sakin, and that makes it Tun, right? So to make it simpler and more appealing to the eye and then more accurate grammatically, you remove the Noon that has Sukun and then you add one Duma to make it two, right? So that is Baytun. So in the Quran, you see Tanween and then Nuun Saakinah in many places in the Quran. So what you need to do is you need to know that, okay, this Nuun Saakinah or this Tanween comes before which letter, and then okay, this letter comes after Nuun Saakinah or Tanween, then which rule will I apply to them, or something like that. So that's it. And then the difference between Tanween and Noon Sakina is that Tanween can only be found at the end of a word, while Noon Sakina can be found at the middle. Sorry, that's found at the middle or at the end of a word. You can never find Tanween at the middle of a word. It's always at the end. And mind you, Tanween is Fathatan, Keswatan, or Bumatan. So what you find at the middle or at the end of a word is known as Sakina. But Tanween is only found at the end of the word, while Noon Saakinah is found both at the end and at the middle. Sometimes you find it at the beginning, but when you find it at the beginning, a word that has maybe consonants, a word that has a letter will come, like a word will come before it. When a word comes before it, then you have Hamzatul Wasl. So it's actually not starting the word. So that's why I skipped that and I just said middle or the end of the word, because you actually have Hamzatul Wasl before that Noon Sakina that starts the word. And then so Noon Sakina is not the one starting the word, but Hamzatul Wasl. I don't want to make this confusing, but you understand it as you keep reciting, as you keep practicing. So Noon Sakina doesn't really start a word, because you always have Hamzatul Wasl before the Noon Sakina when it has to start a word. So it doesn't really start a word. It is always at the middle or at the end of a word, while Tanween is always at the end of a word. So the rules of Noon Sakina and Tanween. There are 4 rules governing Noon Sakina and Tanween. So the rules are Idhab, Idgham, Iqlab, and Ikhfa. You don't need to memorize, just make sure you understand and practice. But when we move on to learning Idhar, for example, and I tell you that when you have this social letter coming after non second out 10, you have to memorize those letters and you have to practice and practice and practice. So that's what you need to memorize in tajweed aspect. As for the makhraj, you don't have to memorize the parts that okay, this comes from the throat. You don't really need it. What you need is practice. But here you will need to memorize. You will need to memorize and practice. That's it. And you need to take notes too. If you don't have a notes, make sure you have a note. So let me know if you have any questions, maybe um on what we've learned so far,